Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday, a beautiful day.
So you're in a hurry? Well, you better calm down. We're all friends around you, just join the fun. 'Cause if you're in a hurry, you're missing the point. Should enjoy the fruits of life instead of chasing coins. Because it's a beautiful day. Isn't all? So come on, let's play. Forget the rush you're in and find a good spot. Sit down and join us as we sing a good song. Kick back, relax, and just follow along. Oh, we got plenty of time. Taking it easy won't cost you a dime. Throw another log onto the fire. Because it's a beautiful day. And come on, let's play.
Good morning. I feel like we need to hear an inspirational song this morning.
You say take me on a treasure hunt. I long for something new. Have you heard the fairies when they sing and dance? Oh, I wish it was me every night. When I close my eyes, I see beauty lives in me. I know I don't yet know it, so I trust you when you say that trust you when you say that beauty lives in me too. Beauty lives in me. I know I don't yet know it, so I trust you when you say that beauty lives in me too.
You are beautiful. Hold that feeling in your heart. Tell yourself, I am enough. I am worthy. I am deserving of good things in life. We all are. Good morning. Good morning, Kathy Hand. Auntie Jean, Blue Jean. Yes, yes. It is Wow Wednesday. And every day when we come together, it's a wow moment, isn't it? It's just amazing to come in here for unconditional love. When out in the world, there's a lot of judgment going on. There's a lot of trauma going on right now, but we know that this is the place where we can come and just be together in one accord and love each other and hold each other up and hold the world up in our hearts. Marietta, our dear heart lady. Oh, yes, we have to always go into our heart and pull on that energy that says, I don't understand, right? There are things we don't understand in the world. But when we say those mantras, accept, align, allow, and everything is working perfectly, then we're pulling on our faith. We're pulling on our trust that there is a higher power that knows more than we do. Kathleen Caputo, good morning. Joanne Castillo, good to see you. Annie Seven and Grayson. Andrea Gregg, thank you. Yes, I love that song. I think we need that reminder, don't we? We need the reminder that we are pure love. We are beauty inside of us. And there's our Deirdre, good morning. Thank you for sharing. And thank you, Kathy Hand, for sharing. Rick Morrow and Josie, good morning. Catherine Kovacs, oh, it's good to see you all on this Wednesday. It is a Wow Wednesday. And we have to just keep reminding ourselves every moment we have choices. We have choices in how this day is going to be for us. Yes, there's a lot going on in the world, but there's a lot going on inside of us as well, processing things, figuring out what's this day going to look like for me? How am I going to react and respond to a world that sometimes seems upside down? So we all have to come to that place in our hearts and say, okay, I don't understand things, but I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep going forward. Yes, exactly, Kathy Hand. There's been a lot of loss in the last week, and we're going to lift all of those up. Today is prayer day. Today I shared the slide of all the names that we're praying for, names of people that some have already moved on, and some of them are the families. And we pray for each other for miracles in our life. That's what I want on this Wednesday. I want a miracle. So that's going to be my wow. I believe I'm going to get a miracle. Do you believe that you're going to have a miracle today? Do you trust that it's there for you? That we all have access to love and light and beautiful, wonderful things that happen in our life? Hold that thought if you do. Hold the thought if you believe that you can receive a miracle today, because I believe we all can. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate that. When we get to our prayer time, we will take a moment of prayer, a moment of silence for those that were part of the tragedy that happened yesterday. Thank you. All right, I'm going to pull a Kuan Yin card. If anybody has a wow, or if you have anything that you would like to share with the family, just type it in the comments. This is our time together. And I put this particular screen up behind me because I feel like if we can show kindness, if we can be the one to make a difference, to make an impact in the world, then that's our calling. That's what we are to do, is to do all things with kindness. And in a world that's showing an ugly side, in a world that's showing that people hurt other people, when we show kindness, that may be what some of those hurt people need to see. It may be, it may be, as Kuan Yin just popped out of this deck and said to us, it may be the one thing that's needed right now in our world is compassion. Kuan Yin sits upon a radiant moon of compassion, pouring forth the spiritual strength needed for you to liberate yourself from lower vibrational energies of fear and judgment and shift into the vibration of freedom, love, and peace where you naturally belong. You are being urged to use this power to grow spiritually and free yourself from a situation that would otherwise dim your bright spirit. You know, you can't make this stuff up, right? When a card just pops out of the deck and our Kuan Yin, so full of love and compassion, is helping all of us right now to understand that that's where we're needed. That's where our hearts need to go. That's where we need to be, is in that moon of compassion, and just let it do its work. Just let it do its magic. Good morning, Oksana. Good morning, Julie Kiss. That card, I know. It just blows me away every morning when Kuan Yin speaks to us, but when it is so evident that this is the answer, this is what we're looking for. Let's see what Deirdre has to say. What I do when all this loss of life happens, I remind myself that it's each human's journey. We have exit points. There is no sting in death. We feel for those who are left behind, and that's where our prayers are needed. Thank you, Deirdre. What a beautiful message to us all. Thank you so much for those words. And yes, you are so right. That is where we're needed right now, to show the compassion, to show the empathy. Oksana says, good morning. We are a miracle, and we live in a miracle. Every day I remind myself to be aware of my divinity and thus of my love and light. I am that I am. I stop separating myself from source love. I am one. We are all part of that oneness. We all came from the same spark of the divine, and we're all living this journey together in our hearts, which is where our home is. And sometimes we have to walk each other home, don't we? Sometimes when we get caught up in the illusion of the separation and we think of ourselves as different from each other, and we start doing the judgment, we start doing the criticisms, and we start comparing, and we start looking at the contrast as good and bad, We start looking at what we don't want. And sometimes we do have to look at what doesn't appeal to us to know what we do want. Sometimes we have to look at the upheaval and the chaos to know that we want peace. We want that beautiful world that we know, that we know can happen, that we envision to be true, that we can live in a world where we care for each other, where we show kindness to each other, where we show compassion to each other. And we found that here. We have found that together in this family. Every day we show compassion. Every day we show empathy with whatever any one of us is going through. We can be very empathetic. We need to shine that beyond this family. We need to shine that into the world. And there are moments of joy that we can hang on to, like yesterday, which was Dolly Day. And we got to see that beautiful horse that our Blue shares with us. We got to feel the energy of animals in their pure state. It was funny, Blue. I was driving to Ruth Anderson's new house yesterday. I was dropping off some things for her. And as I was stopped at a traffic light, I just glanced over. I saw some movement. And I glanced over and saw a couple of horses that were outside. And as I was sitting there, it was a long light, and sat there, and another horse came out of the enclosure. And as it came out, it wasn't outside the gate yet where the other horses were. And one of the horses just came over and was standing at the gate, like it was keeping that horse company. Like, okay, I know you can't get to me, but I can be here with you while you're where you are. And it was just a reminder that we can do that as humans. We may not be exactly where other people are in spirituality, where other people are in becoming empathetic and kind and growing spiritually. But there are those that will wrap their arms around us if we are in that low place, if we're facing something, we're facing some trauma or some tragedy that's happened. We have this family of love. When one hurts, we all hurt, and we all gather around the one that's trying to come to terms in their heart with what's going on. So this is the time and this is the place for all of us to just make your statement. Where are you? Where are you right now, emotionally, spiritually, mentally? Where are you? Are you in that low vibration? And, I was writing the blog last night, and it just made so much sense what the angels were saying. We're not going to understand everything in this world. We're not. And once we can accept that, once we get to that place of saying, I can't control anything, I can't control other people, but I can go into acceptance that there's going to be things that are out of my control. And I can come to terms with those things, even though I don't understand. I don't understand how acts of violence can happen. I don't understand how racism can happen. I don't understand these things. But I have faith and I have trust that there's a higher being that does understand. There's a higher being that has the big picture, not just the pieces of the puzzle that we see. And Blue says, the yard has gotten silent. It feels like it's listening in the morning light. And that light is us. It is, Blue. It's all of us that have come together in a place of love, in a safe place where we can say I don't understand. A safe place where we can say, I can show compassion, I can show love, I can show empathy, I can wrap my arms around others who are feeling that same emotion of the world is upside down sometimes. But when we look at the big picture, we look at like what Deirdre was saying, there's nothing to fear in death. It's a transition. But those that are left behind when a death occurs, especially if it happens so suddenly and unexpectedly, then that's when the pain comes in. That's when the hurt and the grief and the sorrow. So we can wrap our arms of love around those who are left behind, those who really can't grasp and understand it. Okay. So Blue, I think you're talking about Dolly. She said everyone calls her princess now. She is our little princess. And thank you for sharing her with us. Deirdre says, Dolly is such a beautiful being of light. And thank you, Blue, for sharing her. Good morning, Rosalind. I was thinking about you this morning, and here you are. And Deirdre says, I am turning my wounds into wisdom. Yeah, that's the best thing we can do. When something has touched our heart and we hurt, and there's hurt, you know, we don't just bury our head in the sand and say, oh, you know, it'll be okay. And it will be okay. But in this moment, there's a wound. There's a wound that we all feel and a loss that we all feel together. So turning those wounds into wisdom means we come to a place of acceptance. We come to a place where we just know that we're here on purpose, and everyone is going to face not being here at some point, and it's okay. That's something that's a given in this human experience. Death is an experience that we're all going to face. So how do we process that? And that's where our brain has to go sometimes when something like a tragedy happens, like what just happened in Texas and what happened in Buffalo. Auntie Jean says, my heart cries for all those who have lost so much and so many innocent children, sending them love, strength, and compassion. Only the divine can cure this sorrow for all of us. He will. Just have trust and faith that everything can be made love and joy for all. Thank you. Thank you, Auntie Jean, for your wise words. And Blue says, I got hit with a huge wave of sorrow yesterday. I have no idea why. I went online and saw Auntie Jean's post. I feel stuck and know it's time to light the grid. I hear, ready now. It is time. It's time for all of us to light that grid of love in our heart, to face our fears, to face our emotions, and to allow. And when we think of those beautiful words that Marietta taught us, accept, align, allow. It has a more powerful meaning right now, doesn't it? Because we can go into acceptance. We can go into allowing, even though we don't understand it. That's the whole thing. We're not going to understand. And when we can face that, so many times our human brain wants to figure it out. We want answers and we want it now. And that's the outcry right now in the world. We want to know the why. We want to know, hey, you know, what's this all about? And what are we supposed to do? Well, what we're supposed to do is what we do here, love. We're supposed to wrap our arms around each other and support each other. And then the accept, align, allow, aligning ourselves with source God energy is what will lift us up and what will help us through any of these moments of tragedy. Oksana said, it's very sad. I have a fourth grader myself, and it breaks my heart. So I will take my time to grieve this tragedy and send my love. Yeah. Thank you, Oksana. Kathy says, I will be thinking of all of you today. This family is so loving and supportive. I hope more people feel our presence and find their way to our family. Thank you, Kathy. I wish that as well. I would love to see our family grow. I would love to see others come to the light and to know the love that we have here and to share that love. Yes, Catherine, I will read the Kuan Yin card again before we go into our prayer time, which is like now. And I just want to send Kathy off to work and tell you, have a great day, Kathy. We love you so much. And Joanne says, taking moments of silence throughout the day to beam love, light, and healing to the families in the Texas tragedy. Thank you, Joanne. I hope that we all can do that. I hope that all of us can go into our hearts. Our friend Ruth Anderson, who is the founder of Enlightened World Network, her daughter just graduated from high school, and she's having a small get-together today with her classmates, and I'm going to be there to help Ruth and to be present there for her daughter. And I know that's going to be something that's on all their minds. You know, they just graduated from school, and now this tragedy has just happened at a school. So I know that's going to be something that they're all going to have questions. They're all not going to be at the place where some of us can be of accept, align, allow, and knowing that everything is working perfectly. So I want to read the Kuan Yin card, and then let's go into our prayer time. If you have any other prayers, I have added the town in Texas, and I think we need to hold all of Texas up right now. I think the world is looking at Texas under a microscope, as well as New York, where another tragedy just happened recently. So the Kuan Yin card, responding to us in our moment of compassion and empathy. The card is the radiant moon of compassion. Kuan Yin sits upon a radiant moon of compassion, pouring forth the spiritual strength needed for you to liberate yourself from lower vibrational energies of fear and judgment, and shift into the vibration of freedom, love, and peace where you naturally belong. You are being urged to use this power to grow spiritually and free yourself from a situation that would otherwise dim your bright spirit. And that was the words that the angels had for us last night in the blog. I encourage all of you to read that blog today. I dedicated it to the families, the loved ones of those who left this planet recently, suddenly, tragically, the ones in Texas, the ones in New York. And the words that the angels had to say were profound. So I encourage all of you, if you're looking for a light, if you're looking to see what divine has to say, I channel these angel messages through every night. And every night, they are so powerful and so relevant to things that are going on in our world, in our lives, in our family. So I encourage you all to go find that blog. I post it every day on Facebook, and it's on my website. All you have to do is go to angelspeakers.com and go to the tab that says blog, and you'll find the latest one that comes up first. And the message they had last night was to see how do we grow spiritually through the things that happen in life, through the tragedies, through what's going on in the world. So I'm going to pull up the prayer list. It is Wednesday, and this is what we do on Wednesday. We share those that we want to bring into our hearts to love, those that we have been given from loved ones, and say, we trust you. We trust that you are going to hold our loved ones up to divine, that you're going to wrap your arms of love around them. And we do. So let me go there and find the blog. Not the blog, finding the prayer list. Good morning, Stacy. Welcome. You're here just in time for the prayers. Again, it's not cooperating very well, so let me stop that. And try it again. Here we go. Yes, Kathleen, I so agree with you about that. And Joanne is adding Nancy Sanger, diagnosed with breast cancer a few months ago. She's recently found out that it has spread to her liver. Joanne, I will add her name at the end after we get off of the show today. I will go in and put that in there, and it will show up on next week's when we share this list. All right, so let's prepare our hearts. I've got some error messages on my computer, so let me get rid of that so that I can see the prayer list. So every Wednesday, we're reminded that we are praying for all of the P's for peace, which is all of you. And thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this family that prays for peace, that speaks peace, that holds peace as an intention in our hearts. We pray for peace on our earth. And we know that we're bringing it in by going into our hearts. We're finding that place of love, that place inside that says, I am peace. So take a moment and breathe in love, breathe in light, breathe in the care and the courage that's inside of you to share of yourself. Blue has a question. I believe they may be helping with the situations in both Texas and New York, Blue Jean. I think they all have a big mission right now to work to heal the earth. Good afternoon, Pat Moss. All right, so let's see if I can get this. Is not wanting to cooperate today. Here we go. Found the control. All right, so let's take a breath into our heart. And these are the names on our list that we lift up every day. Prachetta, Prachir, Nivriti, Jasmine and her daughters. And she's asked us to please continue to lift them high. Abha, Billy and Tim, Sheila and Kevin, Gary, James, Loretta and Cecil, Joanne Castillo and her family, especially her daughter Jackie and grandson Eris, Deirdre and her daughter Danya, who is doing great. And we are so happy that she is responding and that she's recovering from going through the trauma of cancer. And for our thump that we got to see on Deirdre's birthday, for Deirdre's sister Steph and husband Bob, Adriel, Joni, Tia Frenetti is a new one added to our list, along with Elaine Bartoli, Mickey, Suzanne Millard and her family, Marietta and Ed and good girl Pearl, Claude and Raquel, Leo Harley and his family, DJ Blaze, Lakshmi, Ken, Jebby, Jim and son, Ryan, Rick and Josie, Tony Jaraba, Tammy Williams, Meg and Jim Lorio here in Boulder, Jean and Ron Lorio and their family, Christina and Carrie Leftwich and their family, Mary Lou Burdick and her family, Catherine and Michael Kovacs and their family and their fur babies, Roslyn Good Vibes, Sally and Tony, Kathy and Bob Hand and all of their family, Michael, Patty, Sonia, Paul and Marlene, Joe and his wife, Pat Moss, your daughter and grandchildren, and your sister, Becky and her son Travis, Erica Hoppy and her family. And Joanne says, Elaine Bartoli is my sister. Her knee surgery was a success and she is doing well. And thank you, Peas, for your prayers. Thank you, Joanne. What a blessing. Thank you for answered prayer. Okay, just trying to see if there's any to add before I go on. Oh, thank you, Joanne. Thank you for your words. That blesses my heart. And Deirdre's calling on all computer angels for Mama P. Yes, my computer, I believe, is on its last leg. It's a challenge sometimes to get through it. All right, we're up to Corinne, Charlie Coons and his family, and his brother and his wife. Hope Wellington Marshall and her son Zena and her parents. And we are lifting you up very high, Hope, if you're listening to us. Trey Horn, Andrea Gregg, Catherine, Eric, John, Tatiana, Annie Seven, and Grayson, Regina and Adam, Betty, Cassandra, Destiny Ortega, Luz Orsini and her grandkids, Christine Lewis, Gail and Nick Zimmerman, Jennifer and Micah, Oksana and her mom, along with Amber, Jenna, Katia, Maximus and his teacher, Herb, Darlene, Caitlin and Aunt Gail, Isabel and Paul Reese and their daughters, Beata, Linda and Dick Lemieux and their sons and grandchildren, Linda's friend in Sarasota, Stacy and Josh Lord and their children and grandchildren, her mom Karen, Mary Lord, and let's lift up all of Stacy's family. They've been through so much loss. And thank you, Stacy. Yes, we remember your Uncle Richard. I took him off the list, but your whole family is on the list so that we can lift you up and wrap our arms of love around you as you go through that time of grief. Buster, Wayne, Blue Jean, and Dave Walensky, and their fur babies and family and loved ones there in the Deerfield Valley. Dolly the horse, Pam and Gordy, Lindsay, Aunt Inga, Roe, Gary McCorkle, Brookie and your family, the Girardi family, Jeanette and Ernie, Sean, Angel Fullerton, Lillian in Norway and all of her family, Kathleen Caputo and your loved ones, and praying for you physically, Kathleen, for healing and for miracles to happen in your life. Colleen Straw, Catherine, baby Wyatt, baby Haven, Kat, Steve, Candy, and Pastor Bruce, the whole Deerfield Valley, where the peas are going to descend in October. We're going to be there for almost a whole week, loving each other together and enjoying that beautiful area of Vermont. Alba, Dottie and Dawn, Christina Schaff, Grace Isis and all of her family, Raymond, Darren Walker, Arthur Thompson, Karen Palmer, holding her and her entire family. And her dad, Frank Reardon, has gone on to leave his physical body. So we lift up the whole family there. Vicki King, Elaine Armstrong, Elena, Marianne, Henrik and Lorraine, Tammy Fisk, and her daughter and her sister, Lori, Kelly, Rochelle and her mom, Rose, Stephen, Catherine, Ruth Anderson and her family, and her sister-in-law, Sharon, and her sister and brother-in-law. Her brother-in-law, Charlie, needs our prayers, so please remember them. Jeannie and Merle, the whole area of Boulder. I've been sending out a lot of energy here in the area to help lift this vibration. There are places where it looks like a war zone, so it really needs all of our continued prayer here in Boulder. Deb Goldberg and her family, Michelle, Crystal and Dean Nobles. Crystal was with us yesterday. Her sons, Gabriel and Jacob, and Brody the dog. Laura Hill, Joanne Rice, Julia Osborne, Sharon Rhea and her family, Sherry Gatewood and her brother-in-law, Hummingbird, Tammy Hill and her family, Phil B., Lynn Gallagher, Terry Wilderman and her father, Mary C. and her friends, and I'm hoping that we can encourage Mary to come to our retreat. She's thinking about it. Irene and Eduardo, Eddie Quills, Jose, Michael Murdoch, Jessica, Fidel, Camilla and Nick, Lynn Andriozzi, Frank, Albie, Viola, Kenneth, Bobby, Monsi and her family, Kamal, Maddie, Akil and the Pakistan orphans, Noel, Yuri, Scott, Letitia, Mary, Joshua, James, Drake, Alicia Burns, Pam Dite, Betsy, Kimberly, Ellen, Sue Seekoff and Richard, Terry Gilstad, the Walters family, Chiara, Marissa, Allie, Bree, Claudia, Marianne Pish and her family, Cassandra and Danny Gary, Linny, Rick Ulfick, still needing our prayers with recovering from a heart attack and a stroke. Please lift him high. John Thaddeus Fiore and his family, Kuka Carney and her family, Bob Simon and Sherry Otis, Sharon Boyle and Zoe, Carol Fisher, Jay Rothman and Mary, Deborah, Violet, Walter, Brookie's Aunt Jeannie, Shelley, Sue and grandchildren, Carrie's mom, Maggie's mom, Freddie, Bradley Capone, Andy, Amanda Summer, Robert Dosa, Miles and Sarah, Debbie Carol Hawks, who needs a kidney, Carl, Brutus the dog, Augie the dog, Chris Blake, Dante, Jerry, Kaylee, Trevor Gordon, Richard Weber, Charlotte Abrahams, Michelle Landers and her family. And let's take a moment of silence right now. If you would, just join me in that. We just want to hold these families of the ones who just tragically lost their lives. And let's remember all of those who are left behind to deal with that, to come to terms with it in their hearts and in their soul and in their minds. And let's wrap our arms of love around them and around all who have loss in this world right now, but especially in these two areas. And as we are taking this moment of silence, just do a connection in with Mama Gaia, asking her to bring forth so much love, so much nourishment, so much guidance to us all. So let's take that time right now to just go into our hearts. Thank you, Peas. Thank you, everyone who's wrapping your arms of love around those who are suffering, those who may not be able to understand it. I don't think any of us really can. But let's pray this prayer together. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. I encourage all of us to go into our hearts today, throughout the day. Remember all of these that were on our prayer list. Remember those families that have suffered loss. And just take a moment throughout your day to go into your heart, just like what we just did. Just hold that energy of love to shine it forward into the world. I love you all so much. You're such a blessing to the world. And every day, as we shine our light out on each other, we say these magic words to each other. We say to each other, I appreciate you. I am grateful to have you in my life. Thank you. And we do that as a heart telephone where we send that love person to person. So let's do that on the count of 3, 2, 1. Thank you. I love you. I love you with a pure, unconditional, agape love that can only come from Source, God energy. That is our driving force. That's what helps us to get through the times of tragedy. And it's what's there with us in those times when we lift each other up and celebrate. So let's do all of that throughout today. Just keep staying in your heart. Keep finding that place of love inside of you. And let's fill our cups full of joy. If you brought your cup in empty today, I hope you're leaving with an overflowing cup that's full of love, compassion, peace, and joy. And every day, we end our day on the high note known as Leo. Gypsy Leo, filling our cups even more full with joy.
Good morning, Earthlings. It's time to get up and get ready because today's the perfect day to have a great day. Here we go, come on, come on. Come on, let's play, it's a beautiful day. If you woke up this morning, might as well be part of it. One on a peaceful peace, on a mission for harmony. You and me, mama, be on the lead, wherever we may be. We create a portal where we can be together. The heart telephone is always one phone call away. Calling on the guys, the angels and the masters. Take a deep breath, we're going into a new dimension. Morning Cuppa Fulla Joy, every day. To start the day on a high vibe, we call the AAA. Morning Cuppa Fulla Joy, with all the bees and the pod. The daily mantra is thank you, I love you, namaste. Morning Cuppa Fulla Joy, every day. To start the day on a high vibe, we call the AAA. Morning Cuppa Fulla Joy, with all the bees and the pod. The daily mantra is thank you, I love you, namaste. Give me a cuppa full of joy. Give me a cuppa full of. Give me a cuppa full of joy. Give me a cuppa full of. Cuppa full of joy, full of light, full of love. Bottomless refuse, spilling off from the top. Here, the coffee's always hot and the choice is always yours. The sun is calling out to play, let's put on a show. Today's a new day, we all part of this game. Let's play to win. Love always is the winning team. And you can side with us, there is always more space in the pot. For more love, take a spot and get the day started. Morning Cuppa Fulla Joy, every day. To start the day on a high vibe, we call the AAA. Morning Cuppa Fulla Joy, with all the bees and the pod. The daily mantra is thank you, I love you, namaste. Morning Cuppa Fulla Joy, every day. To start the day on a high vibe, we call the AAA. Morning Cuppa Fulla Joy, with all the bees and the pod. The daily mantra is thank you, I love you, namaste. Give me a cuppa full of joy. Give me a cuppa full of. Give me a cuppa full of joy. Give me a cuppa full of. Give me a cuppa full of joy. Give me a cuppa full of. Give me a cuppa full of joy. Give me a cuppa full of. There really is no secret. We simply accept, align, allow. AAA, Morning Cuppa Fulla Joy, every day. To start the day on the high vibe, we call the AAA. Morning Cuppa Fulla Joy, with all the bees and the pod. The daily mantra is thank you, I love you, namaste. Morning Cuppa Fulla Joy, every day. To start the day on the high vibe, we call the AAA. Morning Cuppa Fulla Joy, with all the bees and the pod. The daily mantra is thank you, I love you, namaste. Give me a cuppa full of joy. Cuppa full of joy. Cuppa full of joy. Give me a cuppa full of joy. Give me a cuppa joy. Give me a joy. Give me a cuppa joy. Give me a cuppa joy. Give me a cuppa joy. Give me a joy. Give me a cuppa 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 joy. Cuppa full of joy. Give me a cuppa 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 joy. Woo!
I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being of service to the world. You're such a bright light. Stay in your hearts. Stay blessed. And let's go have a wonderful Wednesday together. I will see you later. Namaste, y'all.